everybody, happy Tuesday. Anexis here, and welcome to today's video and Blind Woman Recommends. So this is part one of recommendations for Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee. If you have not watched yesterday's review, I will link it below. I'm breaking this up because I have a lot of recommendations here, a lot of like anime recommendations to watch, as well as a couple of books. I think I have, so I'm breaking it up into books first. So this is for all my people who want a few books after this anime. I'm sorry, after this book itself. Why am I thinking about anime? Oh, probably because I really wanted to watch some today. After this book. And then if you want something to watch after this book, I have some anime that you can watch after as well, that I think kind of fit the theme of hope and inspiration, which is kind of what I mainly saw in Meet Cute Diary, despite a few of my criticisms. So I have about 8 to 9 books to recommend. So let us begin. The first book I am going to be... Oh, by the way, some of these books I mentioned in a previous recommendation video. So instead of discussing the plot, I will discuss the plot a little bit, but or the reasons I'm recommending it. But I have mentioned these. I have talked about these in my channel before, so I will be linking the reviews or series where I recommended it. A couple of these I recommended in a recommendations video for after reading camp. So I will link that video below because I have mentioned, I explain everything thoroughly. So we're going to kind of, I may not do a lot of mentioning of the plot here. I have mentioned these. So if you want to see some of my mentions and previous recommendations when I did recommend this stuff, I will link them below and I'll tell you what that is. The first book I actually am recommending, I recommended it during... Yes, I believe I did. I recommended it for After Reading Camp by Elsie Rosen, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This is a romantic book. This is a romance. Again, follows the theme of romance, but also the theme of hope and idealism and inspiration that comes into this book. So we follow kind of like an alternate reality where instead of President Trump in 2016, the person that was elected was a woman, and she has two kids. So we follow the main character that we follow is the first son of America, and he falls in love, and he has this rivalry with the Prince of Wales, or the Prince of the UK, I guess you can say, and he has this rivalry, but due to something that happened, due to an event, they have to kind of fake a friendship, and from there they fall in love, and they have to keep their romance hidden. So we follow their relationship as things happen. It has very interesting family dynamics, which I think this book was not Red, White, and Royal Blue, but Meet Cute Diary was going for, but didn't explore as much. It has really interesting, cool family dynamics, as well as the hopefulness and inspiration and even idealism in a way, because they have kind of like, the ideal relationship, and people support them no matter and people support them, which at the end, which doesn't always happen. So I like that in the book. So that's one of the reasons I was recommending it. Not to mention the romance, although I have to say that I think Red, White, and Royal Blue has a better romance, but that's just me. Yeah. The next book I'll be recommending, I haven't reviewed yet, but hopefully will soon, and that is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. Now, if you don't know, Christine Riccio is a YouTuber, and She runs the channel Poland Bananas Books. I'll link it below. It's a great channel. I just want to say that when she does book talks, she's like, when she does any video in general, I feel like she's that type of fangirl that you really want to talk about stuff. Like, she's so energetic and awesome about it. She's cool. I really like her channel. So I'm going to link it below. And this one is actually really interesting because we follow a main character who lies to her parents about her study abroad program, where they say that she is studying, they believe she's studying pre-med, but instead she's actually doing creative writing, which is what she wanted to do. And in this study abroad, she likes this guy, and she makes good friends and all the fun stuff. But at the end, at some point her parents discover it, and she ends up returning and continuing to study this continuing to study to be a doctor, but she's also very unhappy in a way, and stuff like that. So she eventually reaches out to her old crush, and she asks them if there was anything that he felt, and it turns out they were both kind of unhappy in the last like 7 years that went by, because it's like it goes from 2011 to 2017, and they get, through some magic, a second chance to make things right. And through some magic, they travel back from 2017 to 2011 with the memories of their previous time, and something, they get a second chance to redo everything, which is so adorable. Honestly, this is an adorable romantic comedy. It's so cute. I really enjoyed it. I read it once. I actually want to reread it. I might reread it before I read her second book that is actually coming out. It actually, by the time you see this, it already came out. But so I'm actually really excited to try and reread this book, because it's actually really good. And it had such an adorable romance, and it was actually well done for this one. It was kind of slow burn a little bit to a point, but it also has, the theme of second chance, the theme of hope, the theme of and it has really interesting family dynamics as well, but mainly it has a lot of hope. It shows so much hope, and the audiobook, by the way, is really awesome. Christine reads her acknowledgments in an author's note, so that was fun. So yeah, this book is very hopeful, very cute. It has an adorable romance, and the characters, you fall in love with them. It's really cute. It was very interesting. So that's my next one. My next book I would actually recommend is Camp by Elsie Rosen. Again, I'm gonna link the review below, because I recommended this mainly because of the aspect of hope that it has through the camp. So this book is about a guy who basically, Randy, he basically does this entire makeover for himself because he wants to date this guy, but he feels like, he basically does his entire makeover to be exactly what this guy wants, and he changes himself. He goes from Randy to Dell and everything, and he changes pretty much everything about himself to make this guy fall in love with him, and it works. But in the end, this guy does have some misconceptions. It goes through it goes through a lot. It discusses really interesting themes that even the description itself actually mentioned. So I know that based on the description, these are the themes that it does, like internalized masculinity, like the masculinity in the queer community and things like that. And it discusses these themes so well, but also at the end, our main character has to decide how much he's willing to change for love. And the main reason I recommend this is because there is a point in the book. The main two reasons is there's a point in this in Meet Diary where Noah has sort of does things to have Drew like him because Drew is a little bit older. Noah is 16 while Drew is 18 in the book, and he does things to appear cooler than to Noah's friends and Noah, so that Noah would like him. So I'm sorry, to Drew's friends, so that Drew would like him. And B, the camp that they have for the queer teens is actually a chance for, you know, queer teens to be themselves, as they're not always able to do that in the outside world. So it offers them sanctuary as well as, you know, a place to just, you know, be themselves. They're able to do the activities they want. They don't have to worry about any judgment because they're all from the queer community, and they all have their own reasons to, you know, to go to the camp and stuff like that. So it makes it's a very interesting aspect, and in a way it helps them to come out to the world later on. And it has some hope because I feel like that camp offers them encouragement and it inspires them as much as I can, and it teaches them about, you know, community, and that I like. So yeah, that is my recommendation. The next book I actually talked about in a recent recommendations video for camp, and that is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I'm actually really looking forward to Mason Deaver's next book, which is also coming out soon. It'll be out by the time you see this, and I'm actually super excited for it because this book, this is I'm actually really excited for it. A lot of the books I'm looking forward to come out. A few of the books I'm looking forward to for June come out June 1st. They'll all be out and soon reviewed. But basically, this is a book about a non-binary teen who comes out to their parents as non-binary. Their name is Ben, and they come out to their parents as non-binary. But at the end of the day, their parents kick them out, and they end up living with their sister Hannah. They literally transfer to school, go, and they meet Nathan, and eventually there's a cute romance. They fall in love, and we see many different issues and things that are talked about and everything. I mainly am recommending this one for the romance and just the cuteness of it because it's adorable. It's kind of adorable. It has the hope that I find in this one is really interesting because there is just the main hope I found is this. There are always going to be people that don't accept you, but there's always going to be at least one person that will. There will always be people that don't, but there's always the hope of people to accept you. And there are going to be either just as many or more people that accept you for who you are. I do think that's true. I've seen that in the long run, where some, you know, there are people that you know, either prejudge me for being blind because they think I can't do something, or they don't talk to me but rather ask someone else, things like that. They do things that are kind of offensive. But you also get the majority of people who can be really nice, and some of them just don't know how to do something, but they'll ask and they'll try to learn. So the majority of people can be really kind, and just as easily as people don't accept you, there are people who will easily do so because of that kindness. And that's something that I think a lot of books should definitely, you know, look into seeing, because I feel like that's also something that should be shown, and that is shown a lot in fiction too, but I feel like it should be shown a little bit more in books like this because it's just really good. The next thing I'm recommending is actually a series. I don't know if this series will continue, although I really hope it does. These are all kind of like, the series itself is written in companion novels. These are all companion novels, but it's such a good series. Just start reading it from the beginning. And the series is Once Upon a Con by Ashley Paulson. So far, there are 3 books in this series, and that is Geekerella, The Princess and the Fangirl, and Bookish and the Beast. This series is written in fairy tale retellings, and each of them is basically a love letter to fandom and how fandom has changed the main characters' lives and has given them some hope when there was none. Oh, and by the way, it's not 9 books, it's 8. Okay, lovely. I just realized, because after this I have 3 nonfiction books to recommend. I know this is going to be interesting. So, it basically is like a love letter to fandom and how it changes the main characters' hope when there really, it gives them hope when there really was none. And I think that is the best gift that there is. To get some hope when sometimes it feels like there is none. I genuinely love anime and it helps me. I love reading because it helps me. It gives me some hope when sometimes I feel kind of out of it and all that stuff, you know? And I think fandom, the community of fandom, though it has its toxic behaviors at times, it also has a lot of positivity, and it gives people, like the series and things like that, gives people a lot of hope and a lot of inspiration. The main thing we like, for example, in Geekarella, our main character Elle mentions how the main series that is starring pretty much in these books, Starfield, helped her a lot when she had no friends. The characters were her friends, and I think that's something we can kind of relate to, and I appreciate it. It is told in fairy tale retellings. The first one is a Cinderella retelling, kind of like, all of them are basically fairy tale retelling meets fandom. So the first one is Cinderella, the second one is The Prince and the Pauper, and the third one is Beauty and the Beast meets fandom. I cannot get enough of these books. These are all companion novels, and I don't know if there are going to be more, mainly because the main 3 actors mentioned in these episodes kind of got their romantic ending. So, and they're cute happily ever after. So I don't know if there's going to be more things written there, but I really hope there are, because it's such a good series and it deserves all the praise. I gave it 5 stars, everything. So the next book I'm recommending, the next 3 books are all nonfiction, and they are memoirs. So I'm going to do my best to explain the memoirs, but going to try my best. The first one is It's Not What It Looks Like by Molly Burke. This is an Audible original. And by the way, if you download the Audible app for the very first time, you can get any book for free, no strings attached. It doesn't matter which one. I got this one the first time I got it for free. I downloaded Audible for the very first time. I think it was 2018 or 2019. And I really wanted to read this book. So that's the reason I actually downloaded it, because I couldn't get it anywhere else. So I was able to get this book for free. This is an Audible original, so it's unlikely you'll be able to find it anywhere else unless she makes it available anywhere else. But she hasn't, as far as I know. But basically, it's a memoir of Molly Burke's life for the last, maybe for her first 25 years. Honestly, what this girl has gone through, yeah, it's hard to read at times. And some of the things are very much relatable. And I feel like but she herself, has been able to get through everything. That's what gives me hope when I read this book. And I think it's very inspirational, and I think it's really cute. It's a good romance. It's a good memoir to read. It's not cute, but cute is the wrong word. It's very inspirational, and it's a good memoir to read. I read it, like I said, the very first time. I think it was 2019. I think that's when it came out, 2019 or 2018, around that. No, it was 2019. I know for a fact now. It was 2019. My cousin, one of my cousins was visiting. I remember. It was 2019. And it came out at a really good time. And I feel like I read this book at a really good time in my life. And just like I found Molly Burke's channel in a really, really great time in my life as well. Maybe I'll tell you that story some other time. I don't know if I might share some stories in this channel, but I haven't quite figured out if I want to share stories in my channel yet. If you are interested in blind story time, let me know. I will actually put the series as Blind Woman Story Time. So if you're interested in story time like that, let me know. Yeah. So I feel like I read this book in a really good time, just as I found her channel in a really good time in my life. And it was very inspirational, and finding her again in general on YouTube was also very inspirational. And I appreciate the work that she does to educate other people, as well as what she does, how she is a role model for a blind person like me. Oh my god, I'm ranting. I wonder if I should have just broken this down in 3 parts and just done 4 books each. And 4 recommendations each, but you know what? I'm doing it. So yeah, I would actually really read these a lot for inspiration. I would read this one for some inspiration. It was very interesting. I'll link Molly Burke's channel below. You should totally look into it. It's an amazing book, and I love it. I love it a lot. So yeah. The next book is Becoming by Michelle Obama. This is a memoir of our former first, or one of our former first ladies. I think this memoir was written well. I think it very much inspires women, and I think it's very inspirational to women. I think she's a great leader, so that's why I'm recommending it. And then the last book is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I want to say right off the bat that Know My Name can be a little hard to read. There were points where I was actually crying, almost crying, and I personally read it in one sitting, but there were points where I was almost crying because some of the things she was describing were so like unbelievable and harsh that I had a hard time keeping some tears in at times. Chanel Miller was a rape victim in 2015 in Stanford, and it was all over the news apparently, but I didn't know because I never keep up with the news, even though I should. And basically everything became kind of, she was Emily Doe at the time, and because they didn't release her name, and she basically became oh god, that just scared me. Okay, she became a little bit more known because she wrote a very viral statement that got released in BuzzFeed, and it became very much viral. And that was something that's kind of, as far as a lot of what I know. The memoir it's a memoir about her experience during the rape case and the trial, and the way the media treated her, as well as the way the courts treated her, and basically the injustices of it all. She does do a lot. She does point out a lot of the darker side of everything here, and a lot of the wrongs that, how wrong and corrupted the justice system can be. And so yeah, it can be a really hard book to read. So if you're thinking about reading it, I just want you to know that it can be really hard to read at times. And because it's a rape case, if it might trigger you, yeah, I would be prepared, because yeah, it does that. So I am really recommending it because although this whole thing happened, she did keep going, even when she did want to be, even when everything kind of pushed her down, everything was against her, the media, the court, in a way, the defense lawyer kept pushing her down, not even like the court wasn't fully against her, because the prosecutor was helping her, but the defense lawyer kept pushing her down, the media kept pushing her down, everything kind of kept going against her. She still kept getting back up, and then she still published her memoir, and I feel like it was a very brave action in her case, because everything was kind of going against her, and that I cannot relate to her suffering, of course, but I feel like it was inspirational to read. It was a great memoir. It was well written, but it was also it was hard to read, and I feel like her bringing things like this up is and writing this was a really great thing to do, not to mention a great thing. I feel like it could be very helpful, and if you read it, it could also be very informative in ways. So that's the reason I'm recommending this, not just because of the inspiration and the admiration that you may feel for the person writing it, but because it's also very informative in a way, and it's very hopeful. It's it's kind of inspirational, and after reading it, you kind of feel for her. I read it, interestingly, I read it sometime during quarantine, which I think we're still kind of in quarantine, but things are opening up a little bit more. But I read it during 2020 in one sitting, and I was like, this is so very sad. But yeah, those are all my book recommendations for many different reasons. I hope you enjoyed these book recommendations. I will leave a bunch of links below in the description. I'm going to try to link all the books. They're affiliate links. I will try my best. So if you, there will be affiliate links. So if you make a purchase, I do make a small commission at absolutely no cost to you. If you found this video interesting, like, comment, subscribe, and share. I respond to all my comments. If you have a video suggestion or request, comment down below or message me privately on my social media, which will be linked below. Be appropriate, polite, and professional in your message, please. I will ignore all inappropriate messages. And if I get 3 inappropriate messages from one person, I will be blocking them from social media and from my channel, depending on what they commented. If I get inappropriate comments 3 times, I will be blocking both in social media and channel. So just know that. I had experiences recently, so I'm not having that again. And so those are my things. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm very much willing to answer your questions. And stay tuned to part 2 of this recommendations video. I feel like this video was longer than I thought it would be, but honestly, if I put all my recommendations together, I feel like it would have been much longer. So stay tuned for another recommendation series tomorrow at 11 a.m. And have a great day, everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.